G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sean and today we're doing another awesome budget white gaming PC build. This one costs about $1,180 here in Australia with brand new off-the-shelf parts with free shipping, which is just insane. And you guys would have seen, if you've been following the channel, we've done $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 PC builds, but this time I wanted to sort of challenge myself to see how cheap we could build a white, mainly white gaming PC that looks absolutely awesome and has really decent performance without spending too much money. So today I'm going to share with you all of the parts. Links to the parts are down in the video description, and also some benchmarks later on in the video in games like Call of Duty Warzone and Crystal Disk Mark, just to give you an idea of how this PC basically performs. So if you enjoyed the video and you want to replicate something like this for yourself, let me know down in the comment section. Maybe chuck it a like, get subscribed, and let's begin. So starting off with the case, we've got the Thermaltake View 200 ARGB in white, which we picked up online with free shipping for $99, which is just insanely good value. You've got tempered glass on the front, tempered glass on the side, which is currently removed, and it comes pre-installed with 3 ARGB fans that you can control with your motherboard software. So if you want to make them white or red or blue or whatever color you want, you can do that with the software. It fits really long graphic cards. You can do AIO coolers in this as well. So if you want to do up to a 240mm RAD in the top or a 360mm RAD AIO in the front, you can do that. You can fit in a few hard drives or SSDs down the bottom and a full-size ATX motherboard in this case. Currently, we've got it set up with a micro ATX board. That's why there's a bit of a gap down the bottom there. But overall, I think for $99, there's not really much else out there that has so much value and looks this good. Now for the motherboard, there wasn't actually too many white motherboards out there, believe it or not, that are in the sort of budget category. A lot of motherboards still have that black PCB with maybe some silver or white accents. So for that, we chose a good old faithful motherboard from MSI. This is the B550 PRO-VDH Wi-Fi. So it's an AM4 platform with DDR4 memory. And I think the fact that this motherboard has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 4 DIMM slots, a couple M.2 slots, a couple PCIe expansion slots as well. I think this is only about $170 or so, is actually really, really good value. And you can probably see why I've used this board so many times in my other PC builds. For the CPU, again, keeping it budget, but we want to still get good value. We've got the Ryzen 5 5500, so 6 cores, 12 threads. It comes with the CPU cooler, so if you don't want to buy an extra CPU cooler, you don't have to. But keeping it with the challenge, we've gone with a aftermarket cooler from Deepcool. We've got the AK400. So that's a 120mm fan on the front of a tower cooler that's in white, and it actually looks really, really nice and doesn't cost too much money. For the memory, we've gone with white Corsair Vengeance ARGB memory. So we've got a 16GB kit running at 3600 megatransfers, which is going to be perfectly fine for a budget gaming system like the one that we have here. And again, using the iQ software or the MSI Mystic Lite software, we can synchronize the RGB of the fans and the RAM together to give you that really nice color profile. Now for the graphic card, it was actually really difficult to find something that was budget and also white, but I think we lucked out. This is the ASRock RX7600 with 8 gigs of video memory, and it is going to be perfectly fine for 1080p or 1440p gaming. It has this white camo theme on the backplate that I'm really digging. It's a dual SOC card with 3 fans, and the fans are actually transparent, which allow the RGB LEDs to sort of shine through and reflect. And again, you can use the software from ASRock to set it whatever color you want to do it, or if you want to maybe put it in that rainbow profile or white like I've got it here set at the moment, I think it looks really, really nice. Now for storage, we've gone with 512 gigs of M.2 NVMe storage from Team Group. It's the MP33. It's only about $33, and it's going to be plenty fast for booting up your operating system, loading up your games, and copying files between folders. If you want to swap it out for a terabyte, it's really easy to do that. If you want to add in extra storage later on down the track, you can do that as well, because there's an extra M.2 slot on the motherboard, and there's also plenty of SATA ports. So if you want to add in a hard drive or a SATA-based SSD, you can definitely do that. Then for the power supply, it actually doesn't really matter what color power supply you buy, as long as it's got a good warranty, at least 500 or 600 watts if you can get it, just for future, I guess, upgradability if you're going to add in something a bit more powerful down the road. And if you can get it, get something that has a quiet fan and maybe some semi-modular cables. And I think we've kind of ticked off all of those things with this power supply. This is the Thermaltake Smart BM2. It's a 650 watt power supply. It's also rated at 80 plus bronze, so it's quite efficient. It's got a very quiet fan that I can vouch for, and it's semi-modular, meaning that the 24 pin and 8 pin connectors for your motherboard and CPU, they're pre-wired in, but then all your other cables for your graphic card, for those PCI Express connectors, for your SATA connectors, and whatever else you might have are actually, I guess, up to you to put into the system later on or when you need it. And that actually does help with cable management a lot. Basically, only having to put in the cables that you need is a real nice to have. And considering the price point of this power supply, I think it's really a no-brainer. Now, the last thing tying this whole thing together is these power supply extension cables. These are a braided cable that clip on or connect to your existing power supply cables, meaning there's no compatibility issues at all. And you can get these for about $33 from a shop on eBay that I've been using personally for about 2 or 3 years, called PCROAR. I use them in my own personal system. I use them on this PC and plenty others that I've done before this, and they're just rock solid and I think look really, really nice. Now guys, I wanted to show you this PC in one more configuration. So what we've done is we've added in some extra fans, and the pre-installed fans, we've actually moved them to the top and the back, acting as an exhaust. So in their place, we have these from Thermaltake. These are the SWAFAN X's. They come in either a white or a black. You can actually get them in 120mm or 140mm. They cost about 130 bucks, so that's more than the entire case, but they do have some really cool features. So first of all, the connector that they use to power each fan basically, or each other, is a little magnetic connector on the corner with pins, and so they go together, and the advantage is you have a lot less cables to manage in the back of the case. The second cool feature is the actual fan blades themselves can actually be pulled out and replaced with either an intake or an exhaust. So depending on your configuration and your aesthetics and how you want them to look, these fans actually might do the trick. One other cool thing personally for me is the ARGB element. So on the cheaper ones, they're normally just placed around that center hub, but on these SWAFANs, they're actually placed around the center hub, but also the outer ring, and then also the inside of that ring as well. So they're a lot brighter, and if you are interested or wanting to make your PC as blingy or as, I don't know, unicorn puke or whatever you want to do, these fans are probably one to check out, but there are lots of other options. I just wanted to show you guys how clean everything looks now with 6 fans installed and how white you can get it. And I think personally it looks really, really nice. So now let's finally jump into some benchmarking. We're going to test out Call of Duty Warzone, Apex Legends, Fortnite, and Valorant at 1080p, 1440p, and 4K. We're going to do it at medium settings to show you guys how this PC performs. We'll also run a test on the SSD. We're going to run Crystal Disk Mark so you can get a theoretical max read and write speed on the drive, and then run a torture test on the CPU and GPU to show you guys the performance of the Deepcool cooler and also the cooler on the graphic card, to see how it performs in a thermal situation. So as you can see here, we run a mixture of low and medium settings pretty much across all of the games. It gives a good balance between FPS and visual quality. And as you'll see at 1080p, this game runs at 286 frames a second, 1440p 224 frames a second, and 4K 105 frames a second. So if you are wanting to play competitive Apex Legends on a system like this with this hardware, you're going to have absolutely no problem. Then jumping into Fortnite, you can see here we're running pretty much similar settings if possible, a real mix of low and medium, although I will say Fortnite is quite demanding. And then when you jump into Fortnite at 1080p, you're going to get about 147 frames a second at 1080p, 1440p 123 frames a second, and 4K about 59 or basically 60 frames a second. So again, if you're wanting to play competitive Fortnite at 1080p or 1440p on those sort of low to medium settings, you're going to have absolutely no problem. Then with Valorant, it's pretty much a case of the CPU being the limiter here. So we've got all of the settings set to either medium or, nothing too crazy, but with 1080p for Valorant, you're going to get about 330 frames a second, 1440p 309 frames, and 4K 312. But do take into consideration the minimum frame rate here, because it does depend on how many other players are in the map and what textures, what effects might be happening because of, their spells that they're casting or whatever it might be. But overall, you are still going to get a really good gaming experience for Valorant with this hardware. And then lastly, Call of Duty Warzone, which is probably the most demanding game, and I was not expecting the results that I got. So running a basic preset on this game gave us some pretty interesting results. So 1080p, 133 frames a second, 117 frames a second at 1440p, and 87 frames a second at 4K. But again, do take into consideration the minimum frame rates here, because when you're playing a really intense game here, little stutters and low frame rates when it's really, quite sweaty, is something that you don't want. But overall, it was still a really good experience considering how much this hardware costs. Now, for the SSD, we got on the reads about 2.3 gigasecond, on the writes 1.7 gigasecond. So if you are booting up your system or moving files around between folders and copying and duplicating and all that kind of stuff, you're going to have absolutely no problem on this budget SSD. And then for temps, the CPU maxed out at about 86 degrees Celsius, which was absolutely fine. Wasn't even that noisy. The fans weren't even pushing that hard. And then the GPU, we got about 79 degrees on the hottest part. And again, fans weren't going that loud at all. And that's really the maximum temperatures you're going to see. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you have any comments or suggestions about the next PC build that I should do, let me know down in the comment section. I do hope that this video though gave you some maybe ideas or some inspiration about what you can achieve on a budget if you're wanting to build yourself something a little bit different than your standard black PC that's out there. But other than that, guys, links to everything, affiliate links of course down in the video description, as well as all my social media, my Discord server. If you want to come and hang out, I usually live stream once a week as well. And now that we're at the end of this video, maybe go check out one of the other previous PC build videos that I did. I'll leave a link to the $1,500 PC build over in the corner here, so you can go and check that out in your own time. So other than that, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.